How words get their meaning. Each new speaker learns his native language chiefly by imitation, partly by those hurried scraps of amateur lexicography which his elders produce in answer to the frequent question, "What does that mean?" He does not at first, how should he, distinguish between different senses of one word and different words. They all have to be learned in the same way. Memory and the faculty of imitation, not semantic gymnastics, enable him to speak about sentences in a Latin exercise and sentences of imprisonment, about a cardboard box and a box at the theatre. He does not even ask which are different words and which are merely different senses, nor, for the most part, do we. How many adults know whether bows of ships and bows taught by the dancing master, or down a hill and down desorum, or a boys' school and a school of porpoises are accidental homophones like neat and neat, or arms and arms, or products of ramification? A child may, of course, be philologically minded. If so, it may construct imaginary semantic trees for itself. But it does not so do to explain the usages it has already learned. The usage is not a result of the theory. As a child, I, probably like many others, evolved the theory that a candlestick was so called because it makes the candle stick up. But that wasn't why I called it a candlestick. I called it a candlestick because everybody else did. It is this most important principle that enables speakers to give half a dozen different meanings to a single word with very little danger of confusion. If ambiguity were not balanced by this power, communication would become almost impossible. There is, I understand, a species of modern poetry which is so written that it cannot be fully received unless all the possible senses of words are operative in the reader's mind. Whether there was any such poetry before the present century, whether all old poetry thus is misread, are questions we need not discuss here. What seems to me certain is that, in ordinary language, the sense of a word is governed by the context, and this sense normally excludes all others from the mind. When we see the notice wines and spirits, we do not think about angels, devils, ghosts, and fairies, nor about the spirits of the older medical theory. When someone speaks about the stations of the cross, we do not think about railway stations, nor about our station in life. The proof of this is that the sudden intrusion of any irrelevant sense, in other words the voluntary or involuntary pun, is funny. It is funny because it is unexpected. There is a semantic explosion because the two meanings rush together from a great distance. One of them was not in our consciousness at all until that moment. If it had been, there would be no denotation. This comes out very clearly in those numerous stories which decorum forbids me to recall in print. Stories where some august person, such as a headmistress or a bishop, on a platform gravely uses a word in one sense, blissfully forgetful of some other and very unsuitable sense, producing a ludicrous indecency. It will usually be found that the audience, like the speaker, had till then quite forgotten it too. For the shouts of open or the sibilations of suppressed laughter do not usually begin at once, but after several seconds. The obscene intruder, the uninvited semantic guest, has taken that time to come up from the depths of where he lay asleep off duty. It is, of course, the insulating power of context which enables old senses to persist uncontaminated by newer ones. Thus, the train of address and train on the railway, or civil, courteous, and civil, not military, or magazine, a store, and magazine, a periodical, do not interfere with one another because they are unlikely to occur in the same context. Thus, they live happily by keeping out of each other's way.